The entire history of Peru in 10 minutes. In the distant echoes of 10,000 BCE, when the world was young and unexplored, souls akin to whispers in the wind wandered these lands. They were the first, the pioneers of existence. As centuries unfurled their tapestries, communities sprouted like tender saplings, each with its own song, its own rhythm. Among them, the Norte Chico civilization emerged from the coastal mists, crafting marvels that still defy the logic of time. Their cities, like Corral, stood proud and defiant, monuments to human ingenuity amidst the embrace of the earth. Then, in the fertile cradle of the Andes, the Chavan culture painted stories upon stone and clay. Their art spoke of gods and myths, of a world where the mundane intertwined with the divine. Across the epochs, they etched their legacy upon the heart of Peru, a testament to the power of belief and imagination. Among the Chavan, there was a figure whose wisdom transcended the bounds of mortal understanding. Known only as the shaman of the labyrinth, this enigmatic individual guided their people through the mists of uncertainty, revealing truths hidden in the depths of the earth. Their teachings, etched upon temple walls, offered solace to the weary and hope to the downtrodden. And then there were the rulers of the Moche, whose names echoed through the corridors of time like thunder in the mountains. Lords of gold and clay, they presided over a realm of abundance and prosperity, their hands guiding the destiny of their people with a firm yet compassionate touch. As the sun dipped below the horizon of time, the echoes of the Wari and Tiwanaku civilizations reverberated across the land. From their lofty heights they shaped the destiny of the Andes, laying the foundations upon which empires would rise and fall. And rise they did, in the form of the mighty Inca Empire, a colossus that cast its shadow over the peaks and valleys of Peru. And finally we come to the rulers of the Inca Empire, whose names are etched in the annals of legend. From Pachacuti, the visionary who laid the foundations of their empire, to Huayna Capac, the conqueror whose ambitions knew no bounds, each ruler left an indelible mark upon the tapestry of Peru's history. Theirs was a legacy of conquest and expansion, of unity forged through strength and diplomacy. A new chapter unfolded in the saga of Peru. It was a time of conquest and conflict, of empires clashing like titans in the arena of history. At the center of this storm stood a man whose name would echo through the ages, Francisco Pizarro. In the year 1532, like a spectre materializing from the mists of legend, Pizarro and his band of conquistadors descended upon the shores of Peru. With steel and gunpowder they carved a path of destruction through the heart of the Inca Empire, leaving in their wake a trail of blood and ashes. Their arrival marked the beginning of the end for the once mighty Inca civilization. But it was in the fateful year of 1533 that Pizarro's name would be forever etched in infamy. In a brazen act of betrayal, he captured the Inca emperor Atahualpa, holding him for ransom before ultimately executing him in cold blood. With the death of Atahualpa, the last flicker of resistance against Spanish rule was extinguished, and the Inca Empire crumbled like a sandcastle before the tide. In the wake of conquest, Pizarro laid the foundations of a new order upon the blood-soaked soil of Peru. In 1535 he founded Lima, a city destined to become the jewel of Spanish America, its streets paved with gold and silver plundered from the depths of the Andes. Under Pizarro's watchful gaze, Spanish Peru flourished, its wealth flowing like a river of molten silver into the coffers of distant kings. But as the centuries marched inexorably onward, the true cost of colonial rule became painfully clear. The indigenous peoples of Peru, once the masters of their own destiny, found themselves shackled in chains of oppression and suffering. Forced labor and exploitation became the hallmarks of Spanish rule as the riches of the land flowed into the hands of foreign masters. Yet, amidst the darkness, a flicker of hope remained. Across the vast expanse of Peru, the flames of resistance still burned bright, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human soul. Though the last stronghold of the Inca fell in 1572, the legacy of their defiance lived on in the hearts of those who dared to dream of freedom. In the waning years of the 18th century, the seeds of rebellion took root in the fertile soil of South America, stirring the hearts of men and women weary of foreign domination. In 1809, the flames of revolution ignited in Peru as patriots rose up against the yoke of Spanish tyranny. From the dusty streets of Lima to the remote corners of the Andes, the cry for freedom echoed like a clarion call, inspiring souls to take up arms and fight for their rights. Among these valiant revolutionaries, none shone brighter than General José de San Martin, a visionary whose name would become synonymous with the struggle for independence. In 1821, with sword in hand and fire in his heart, San Martin declared Peru's independence from Spain, leading his army to victory against the forces of colonial oppression. His triumph at the Battle of Ayacucho in 1824 sealed the fate of Spanish rule in Peru, securing the nation's freedom and paving the way for a new era of self-governance. But the road to independence was fraught with peril, and in its wake came a period of uncertainty and upheaval. Throughout the 19th century, Peru grappled with political instability as rival factions vied for power and influence. Coups and revolutions swept across the land like storms on the horizon, leaving in their wake a trail of chaos and uncertainty. Yet, amidst the turmoil, Peru began to find its footing as a fledgling republic. In the late 19th century, the nation's economy underwent a transformation as export industries such as guano and rubber fueled a period of rapid growth and modernization. Cities flourished, industries thrived, and Peru took its place on the world stage as a rising power in South America. But the journey towards progress was not without its challenges. The exploitation of natural resources brought wealth to some, but poverty and inequality to many others. Indigenous communities faced discrimination and marginalization, their voices silenced in the clamor of progress. In the early 20th century, Peru danced to the erratic rhythm of economic fortunes, as industries like rubber, sugar, and cotton rose and fell like waves upon the shore. The nation's fortunes ebbed and flowed, reflecting the capricious whims of global markets and the shifting tides of progress. But beneath the surface of economic turmoil lay deeper currents of political instability, as coups, dictatorships, and guerrilla warfare cast a shadow over the nation's future. In the crucible of conflict, the seeds of dissent took root, paving the way for the rise of the shining path. From 1980 to 2000, Peru found itself locked in a deadly dance with the forces of extremism, as the Maoist guerrilla group unleashed a reign of terror upon the land. Their violent insurgency left a trail of devastation in its wake, tearing apart the fabric of society and plunging Peru into darkness. Amidst the chaos, a figure emerged from the shadows, promising salvation in the form of controversial economic reforms and iron-fisted crackdowns on dissent. Alberto Fujimori, the enigmatic president of Peru, wielded power with a ruthless efficiency that left both admirers and detractors in his wake. But even as Fujimori's star rose, the seeds of discontent continued to simmer beneath the surface, fueling a tide of political corruption, economic inequality, and social unrest that threatened to engulf the nation. In the 21st century, Peru found itself at a crossroads, grappling with the legacy of its past while striving to carve out a future worthy of its rich cultural heritage. And there you have it, the history of Peru in 10 minutes. For more content like this, comment, like and subscribe to Chrono Tales.